Hello and welcome to the Brita podcast, a space where your body is not a problem to fix, but a living companion you can listen to, learn from, and lean on. In the first episode, we talked about my own journey from a life organized mostly from the neck up toward a more body-led life, and I introduced the sacred embodiment pathway. Notice, befriend, stabilize, and integrate. In the second episode, we began to notice our autonomic nervous system, our internal steering system that shapes how safe or unsafe we feel. Today, we are going to look at a pattern that many sensitive, thoughtful people know very well: the urge to constantly improve ourselves. We will explore the difference between embodiment and self-optimization, and why trying to use somatic or spiritual tools to become a better version of ourselves can actually pull us away from our body instead of closer to it. So when I say self-optimization, I mean that whole cultural package of ideas that tells us you should always be improving. You should always be more productive. You should always be more regulated. You should always be more healed, more disciplined, more successful. You should. On the surface, a lot of it sounds positive, besides the should. Who does not want to grow and feel better? But underneath, self-optimization often has a hidden script. Who you are as you are right now is not enough. You should be different. So in a self-optimization mindset, even very gentle tools like breathwork or yoga or somatic practice or meditation can become part of a performance. And the very idea of these practices goes astray. We start collecting tools and techniques like badges: the morning routine, the night routine, the productivity hacks, the nervous system hacks, spiritual ritual hacks, and so on. And if we do not do them, we feel like we are failing. If we still feel anxious or depressed or overwhelmed, we assume we are doing something wrong. In that sense, self-optimization is less about being in a relationship with yourself and more about managing yourself, like a project that always needs an upgrade. From a nervous system perspective, that constant need to be better is itself a stressor. The body never gets to just be. It is always being evaluated, pushed, corrected, or measured. It's never just asked how it feels. So when I speak about embodiment, I speak about something very different. At its core, embodiment means you are in your body. You're able to feel your inner world, sensations, emotions, impulses, with some amount of presence. Presence in the here and now. And you can respond to that inner information instead of constantly overriding it. It is a little bit like Philip Shepard writes in his book Radical Wholeness: feel from flesh inside instead of think from head inside. So in embodiment, we move from the head, from the thought, into the body, into the sensation, into a wholeness with the world. Embodiment is not about becoming your best version. It is about becoming your whole self, including the parts that do not look optimized at all. If self-optimization is oriented around external standards, how you should look, how you should act, how you should perform in society, embodiment is oriented around inner truth, What is actually happening in me right now? What feels like a yes and what feels like a no? What does my nervous system need realistically in this moment? Embodiment does not promise that you will always feel good, calm, or peaceful. That is not what we want. Instead, it offers you the capacity to stay in relationship with yourself even when you feel anxious, angry, numb, confused, or exhausted. To be the one that stays with you and does not abandon you. From the sacred embodiment pathway, embodiment lives in all 4 steps. We notice, feeling what is here, not what should be there. Befriend, softening toward your patterns instead of attacking them. Stabilize, building nervous system capacity without bullying yourself. And integrate, letting your body actually influence your decisions, relationships, and pace of life. You might already see how self-optimization can hijack your nervous system work. Imagine you discover somatic practices and nervous system language. Very quickly, it can become, I have to regulate perfectly. If I'm dysregulated, I'm doing it wrong. If I still get triggered, my healing is not advanced enough. I need the perfect routine of cold plunges, breathwork, movement, journaling, meditation, therapy, and if I miss one or it is not cathartic, I have failed. Change in our nervous system does not come from catharsis. Change in our nervous system comes from safety, from presence, from compassion. So if we talk the way I just gave you examples with, internally your autonomic nervous system hears, there's no room for mistakes. There's no room for dysregulation. There is no room for being human. There is no room for an absolutely perfect response to a situation. And so that message keeps your system in hyperarousal, urgency, pressure, agitation. Or it pushes you into hypoarousal, into collapse, numbness, and the why bother, or I'll do it later. Oh, I didn't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. And it will fuel your inner criticism. And so it does not make you feel safer. It makes you more exhausted. Even embodiment practices can become another form of self-attack if we approach them with the same mindset we use at work or in productivity culture. We may start asking, did I do my somatic practice today? Did I do it long enough? Did I feel the right thing? Did I do it right? Instead of curiously inquiring, did this feel kind to my system? Did I feel a little more connected afterwards? What did I learn about my body today? Embodiment asks us to change the relationship we have to practice itself. It is not a checkbox on a to-do list. It is a conversation with your body. And to go into this conversation a little bit more, I would like to invite you into a short reflective practice to feel this difference from the inside. If it feels safe for you, you can pause what you are doing. If you're driving or need your full attention somewhere else, just listen and come back later. If you have settled into your space, first, allow your attention to move to your body. Your feet on the floor, feel the temperature. Feel how the floor is feeling, soft. Feel your seat on the chair and the weight of your body being held by something solid. Maybe you want to drop into the back lean of your chair if you're sitting. And then take 1 or 2 breaths that are just a little slower than usual, without forcing. Maybe you want to sigh out while breathing out. And allow yourself to arrive here. Now bring to mind an area where you have been trying to improve yourself lately. It could be how you work, how you look, how you show up in relationships, your emotional reactions, your productivity, your spiritual practice. Could be really anything. Notice what happens in your body when you think, I have to fix this. I have to become better at this. I'm still not good enough at it. And take a moment to really feel the fabric of the sensations that show up in your body. You may ask yourself how your chest is feeling, how your breath is. Maybe it's more shallow, maybe your chest is more constricted. What are you feeling in your body? Maybe you feel pressure, urgency. Maybe you feel tingling. Maybe you feel tightening of your belly. Whatever it is for you as sensation in your body, allow yourself to notice. No judgment, just information. And then allow yourself to take a breath again. Allow yourself to breathe in and sigh it out. Then bring to mind the same area, but this time try a different inner sentence. Try this. Oh, how interesting. I would love to understand this pattern. I would like to get to know how my nervous system works here. What if this is not about fixing myself, but about getting to know myself? And just notice if that creates even a tiny little shift. It might not be dramatic. It might be 2% more space in your chest, a slightly softer jaw, a deeper breath, or nothing at all today. And that is also okay. That's very much welcome. So allow yourself to maybe shake yourself out and come back into the here and now, back into this space here. So this is the difference we are working with. Same life area, completely different in a posture. One is self-optimization, such as pressure, evaluation, and self-attack. And the other is embodiment, curiosity, relationship, care, and compassion. So let's come back into the space of where this all sits in the sacred embodiment pathway. We have spoken about it before. here on this podcast. In Notice, we become aware of how deeply performance culture and self-optimization live inside us, often even in the way we approach healing and spirituality. In Befriend, we begin to see these patterns as nervous system strategies, not personal failures. Often overachieving and self-pressure started as ways to stay safe, loved, or useful. In Stabilize, we experiment with practices that actually bring more capacity and ease, instead of adding more pressure. And in Integrate, we let this new relationship with ourselves show up in how we schedule our days, how we set boundaries, and how we move through the world. At some point, this work will live not only here in the podcast, but also in spaces like the self-paced embodied awareness journeys or more guided immersions. Places where we can go deeper into feeling the body from within and building safer rhythms for your nervous system. I do not know, as I'm recording this, exactly which format will be alive when you are listening. A course, a live series, something else. So rather than promising a specific thing, I will simply say, if you feel your system resonating with this and you want more structured support beyond the podcast, you can always find my current offerings and ways to work with me on my website and in the show notes. For now, let this podcast be a steady companion as you experiment with shifting from fixing yourself to relating to yourself. As we close this episode today, maybe take a moment to check in. Is there one area of your life where you notice the voice of self-optimization very loudly? And is there one tiny way you could approach that area this week with a little more embodiment, a little more listening, a little less pushing? It might be as simple as asking before a task or a conversation, what does my body need to feel just 5% safer right now? Thank you for spending this time with me and with yourself. In the next episode, we will shift into a more concrete question. What is somatic practice really? We will build on everything we have talked about so far and start to define what makes a practice truly somatic and what doesn't. Until then, may you feel even one small moment where you are allowed to be a human being and not a project.